Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life as a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. This is going to be a quick one, guys. I just quickly wanted to discuss Trump completely dominating Super Tuesday. Nikki Haley has officially suspended her campaign. And she really should have done this a while ago. There was absolutely no hope for her based on the early state results. Uh, it was known that it was going to be difficult for her, irregardless. But when we started to see the results early on in the Republican primary, it became abundantly clear, apparently to everybody but Nikki Haley, that this was over, that it was over. It was over for her. But really, the fact is, she stayed in simply to be a thorn in the side of Donald Trump. That is literally what she was hired to do. And yes, I use the word hired purposely because she was hired by the Republican establishment. And yes, folks on the elite left to be a thorn in the side of Donald Trump. I've also seen some articles that say, especially from like, I suppose, quote unquote, right leaning outlets or people or writers, or whatever the case may be, that Haley was the only person who really had a shot to beat Joe Biden. Pass me with that. Okay. Miss me with that. All right. That's just ridiculous. Okay. Donald Trump has proven that he can win a national election. Now, I think a lot of this falls on where you think or what you think happened in the 2020 election, whether it was legitimate and accurate or not. But either way, I believe wherever you stand on that, I believe that some of the more neocon people over calculate or over measure the fact that Donald Trump lost, at least theoretically, that he lost, if you catch my meaning. But when the reality is he still got a historic amount of votes. Okay. Even though he lost, he still got a shit ton of votes. So, and you can't look past that. So you have to take the fact that he lost with a grain of salt. And I think that they lean too heavily in that on that. But I saw some interesting articles here just to show you guys the puppet that Nikki Haley was. Look at some of these articles here. Bill Meyer. I never know how to say his last name correctly. Fuck. Bill Maher floats Biden swapping out Harris and replacing her with Nikki Haley. That's my dream. A unity ticket. That's ridiculous, dude. It would not be a legitimate unity ticket because Haley just does not have enough support from enough people within America, let alone the right. Okay. Had DeSantis stayed in, I think DeSantis would have gotten second. He wouldn't have beaten her by as much as he should have, which shows how bad of a campaign he ran. But he still, I believe, would have beaten her. So that's just false. But just, I mean, you would never see articles like this about Trump. You wouldn't, because you know where Trump stands. Whereas Haley, everybody knows that she is a puppet for the establishment, right? And these articles reflect that. And somebody, quote unquote, on the right that the left loves. And I wonder why they love her so much. But let's see here. I wanted to find, there was an article that I saw but from Politico that was pretty good. Let's start with this one though. Nikki Haley drops out of 2024 election as a Gen Z Republican. I won't vote for Trump. Let's check this one out. So this is from Dace Podas or Potus. Dace Potus, Mr. Potus. After a resounding series of losses on Super Tuesday, which we'll take a look at here in a second. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pop that up right now. Like, look at this, guys. All of these articles are like, it's so obvious that she, like, if you're on my side and you're a conservative, these are not articles that are good. Like they expose Haley. And if you're Haley and you're on the right, it exposes you too to a large majority of people on the right. You know, you have the Bill Maher floats Biden swapping out Harris and replacing her with Nikki Haley. That's hilarious. Uh, Donald Trump could struggle to unify GOP after defeating Nikki Haley. How the Biden campaign plans to win over Nikki Haley voters. Haley voters almost twice as likely to vote for Biden than Trump. And you know what? Maybe that's true, but it's not very many. That's the thing. Like, it's not very many voters. That's the thing. And a lot of these people just probably won't vote. And the thing is, what people get wrong about politics, and the Republican Party has gotten wrong. I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to appeal to a lot of people. You should. But you also, it's that fine line between appealing to as many people as you can while also staying true to your base. And that's the thing. That's why Trump, even though he got a shit ton of votes in 2020, he lost because as Ann Coulter says, had he stayed true to his promises and his base, he would have gotten all those votes that he got in 2016, or most of them. So the bottom line is, irregardless of what you think about that, the votes are still there. They're still there, even without Nikki Haley voters voting for Trump. He can still absolutely win this election without those measly votes. Okay. Is it ridiculous that they would rather vote for Biden than for Trump? Yes, it is. But the Republican Party has always had, and I've done, it's not just the Republican Party, but in politics in general, it is us versus them. Okay. At its core, it's us versus them. And you have to pay dividends to your base. Both parties have major splits going on. In the Republican Party, and I've talked about this in the past, in the Republican Party, you have the neocons versus more nationalist, paleo-conservative, populist, Christian nationalist people, okay, that want America to be a Christian country, that wants the sovereign or the leader of the country to put American citizens first before the interests of citizens in other countries. In the left, you have, and this was a well-documented thing as well, when Bernie went against what's her name? I can't believe I'm forgetting what her name is. Bill oh, Hillary Clinton, of course. When Bernie went up against Hillary Clinton, she lost a lot of Bernie's voters too. Okay, and she still had a path to victory. The reason why she lost is not because of the Bernie voters that didn't vote for her, but because she was not able to appeal to the more blue collar people in Midwestern workplace labor type positions. Okay, that's why she didn't win. She did not appeal to those people. So these types of splits happen. And at the end of the day, it is far more important to have a vanilla message to a bunch of people than it is to have a strong targeted message to people that support you directly. You need to satisfy them above everything else. Okay. That is why they're called your base. Anyways, I mean, just look at this. This is crazy. Nikki Haley hits politics glass ceiling, deferring the prospect of a woman president for 4 more years. um, After Haley's exit, her donors divide on whether to switch to Trump or vote against him. See, that is insane that divide exists. But if you are red pilled on this situation and know the reality like I do, this is not a surprise. I have known for years now that there was a divide in the Trump presidency. This is why he got elected, because there were a bunch of neocons that American conservatives were getting tired of, the swamp, if you will, and they exist on both sides of the aisle. And Trump's message was that he was going to get rid of it. And he was going to, and he was against the neocons, and he was against these fair weather conservatives that are basically liberals, stating that they represent us. Okay, this is not a surprise. This has been existing for a while now. Okay, this is why Trump's presidency was such a hard fought thing over every single issue, because there was that divide. And that's not going to change. Okay. It's just not. So, will Nikki Haley's voters support Trump or Biden? Nikki Haley exits Republican presidential race. Uh, you know what? I think it was, let me see. I'll just type in Politico and see what comes up, because sometimes what stories you see one day, they don't pop up again. Playbook, GOP women in the uneasy spotlight. The big question for Nikki Haley is what to do about Trump after she drops out. True. She's great. I don't, Trump will probably forgive her, but he shouldn't. He shouldn't, because she totally betrayed him. Haley flopped, but she exposed Trump's weaknesses on her way out. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true. Uh, Psych. All right, let's read this story and then we'll be done. I also want to show the Super Tuesday results. Let's go ahead and I'll get that pulled up for you guys as well. So here it is. 1,215 delegates needed to win the nomination. Trump has 1,075. Nikki Haley only 94. I can't even believe she has 94. Honestly. Ron DeSantis, of course, he dropped out January 21st. 9 delegates. Vivek Ramaswamy, 3 delegates. And then you guys can see, I mean, Trump is just totally dominating. I'm dominating. He's dominating. Let's see. Let us see. So he picked up 793 delegates on Super Tuesday. On Super Tuesday, the biggest night on this year's primary calendar, 854 Republican delegates are at stake across 15 states. So that's Super Tuesday is 15 states. This accounts for more than a third of all delegates available in the race for the nomination. Follow live updates from our reporters. One thing that I was surprised about slightly, at least initially, is how big he won in California. And, you know, because a lot of people think California is liberal the same way New York is, but it's not. California, and this is the case across Western states, I know this because when I drove a semi truck, I went through these states and got to talk to a lot of people. And I remember one of the things I was surprised by the most is when I would go through Washington or Oregon, I would see tons of MAGA stickers and flags and whatever the case may be. But then you start to notice that it's everywhere but the cities. It's only the cities that it exists. So really, the state as a whole, not the population, but I'm talking like from one end to one end, tends to be very red as it is nationally. Every time you look at a presidential race electoral map, it's red in some of the lesser populated areas, and when you zoom in even further, you see that it's red pretty much everywhere in the state but the cities. The cities tend to go left. And so in California, there still exists a large, strong contingent of true conservatism within California. It's just in California, because of the voting laws and how illegals can vote and all these different things, it's just they're just simply outnumbered. But that doesn't mean that there's still not a strong cohort of conservatism within California, because there is. Okay. Like I said, it's really just in the more urban cities where the sheer numbers gets in the way of the whole state being red. So, but look at this, guys. This is crazy. Trump, Alabama, Trump plus 70. Alaska, Trump plus 76. Maine, Trump plus 48. Massachusetts, Boston, Trump plus 23. Minnesota, Trump plus 40. North Carolina, Trump plus 51. Oklahoma, Trump plus 66. Tennessee, Trump plus 58. Virginia, Trump plus 28. Now that is slightly surprising. In certain regards, I mean, Trump has done very well in Virginia of late. He really had. I mean, he still dominated her. Okay, don't get me wrong. He still won by nearly 30 percentage points. Okay, and got double the amount of votes that she got, pretty much. But so I guess it's not that surprising. I mean, Virginia does definitely have a cohort of liberalism going on there, but they do have a resurgency of conservatism going on as well. So this was so in Virginia, Trump did not win in 2016. He did very good though. Well, no, actually he didn't. He lost by 5%. So that was 2016. And this is the Electoral College overall here. So, and then let's take a look at 2020. I'm not sure if he did much better. Because you always see on Fox News all the time, not that I'm a big Fox News supporter, but because they tend to lean neocon as well, that there's this revitalization of conservatism in Virginia because Virginia elected a conservative governor. But I don't know. I think that that's kind of a deceiving. That's more an outlier than the rule in that state. Um, I mean, he got beat by even more. Look at that. He got beat by double digits in Virginia. Holy shit. So no, Virginia is lost. Okay, it's done. But oh no, what did I do with the man? My bad, guys. I dropped the ball on the Super Tuesday. And of course, the big news here is that the Supreme Court ruled against some of the states' ability to take Trump off of a national federal ballot. It's again, as I had discussed a few videos, or it was probably a couple months ago, we're really starting to see this kind of beta testing or this just testing in general of where federal power lies and ends and where state power begins and ends. We're seeing it with Texas and the border, and I think we have seen it now with the election. So on one hand, it is for a federal office, a national office, but on the other, it is each state voting for a person. And according to the Supreme Court, the 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 fact that he is running for a national office supersedes the fact that it is a state choosing a federal representative. So, if that makes sense. That was big news. And here's the other results. Haley won in Vermont, which is interesting. She won by +4. She won by about 3,000 votes. So, I mean, I didn't think she was going to win any. So I'm kind of surprised that I would have to look at kind of what the prediction was, but Trump +61 California, +58 Arkansas, +60 Texas, +30 Colorado, +14 Utah. I'm gonna see what the prediction was for Vermont. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to see if he overperformed. I don't think he did. Says this is from the AP News. Nikki Haley wins the Vermont Republican primary in an upset. I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if there is anything. Nikki Haley wins Vermont. Here we go. This is probably one. Uh, Nikki Haley gets a surprise Super Tuesday win, beating Trump in Vermont. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley has narrowly won the Republican primary in Vermont, her first victory out of 15 states on Super Tuesday, and the only time a Republican woman has prevailed in a state presidential primary. Haley beat former President Donald. Yeah, gosh darn it, Vermont. Gosh, bunch of betas over there, bunch of simps over there. Haley beat former President Trump in the state, the Associated Press reported, in a close race. It is her second victory in the Republican nomination battle. Haley also captured D.C.'s Republican primary Sunday. Nonetheless, Trump is far ahead in the delegate battle and well on his way to securing the GOP nomination, while other questions are swirling around whether Haley will continue. While Trump is closer to securing Haley's victory in Vermont will bolster her delegate count. The state's 17 delegates would go to Haley if she reaches 50% of the vote. Otherwise, they would be split proportionally if she does not meet that threshold per Vermont GOP party rules. The state has far more registered independents and Democrats compared with Republicans, and anyone can choose which primary to cast their ballots in. Turnout was higher in the Republican Party primary, however. So that's probably why she won, because what they were trying to do in New Hampshire, they were actually able to do in Vermont by having Democrats vote for Nikki Haley. See, that should say it all right there, guys. The fact that Haley has Democrats voting for her should say it all. Okay. And I know some of you guys are like, well, no, it's, if you want to win, you should have Democrat support. No, fuck that. That's false. Okay. No, because what it says overall is that she's not really conservative. What is the point of electing somebody as a conservative if they're not actually going to provide and institute conservative values and principles? So that's why she won. Turnout was higher in the Republican Party. Biden won the Democrat primary with 49,625 votes, with 79% of the votes counted. Haley's victory was a shock to some who had expected Trump to easily sweep all 15 contests on Super Tuesday. Less than 2 weeks before the primary, a University of New Hampshire poll had Trump 30 points ahead of Haley in Vermont. Yeah, so I don't know if he underperformed. I bet he didn't. It is the fact that they were able to get a bunch of Democrats out to vote for Nikki Haley, why she won. So it's not per se that he underperformed as much as Haley was able to do what she wanted by getting Democrats out to vote for her. 30 points ahead of Haley in Vermont, another indication that he would do well in the northern state. But Vermont GOP chair Paul Dame said he was not surprised to see a much narrower margin since he believes Trump has been overpowering in primary polling. Yeah, and that probably played a factor as well. I was expecting a very close race like this, he said. University of Vermont political science professor Alex Garlick said the state has typically supported moderate Republicans, lending an edge to Haley. In addition, anti-Trump sentiment probably drew Democrat and independent voters into the Republican contest. Haley campaigned in the state Sunday, holding a rally with Governor Phil Scott, a vocal Trump critic, shocker, who said Haley provided the best opportunity for Republicans to stop Trump from winning the nomination. State Rep Ashley Bartley, who previously worked on the 2016 campaign of Ohio Governor John Kasich, said she felt proud to see Haley performing well in the state, especially in cities. What bullshit. So, anyways, I don't think he underperformed. I think that there's it is there is such a thing of, well, Trump's going to win anyways. I don't need to vote. He's going to win, but I'll definitely vote in the national election. The sense of urgency not being there is a real thing. Also, I guarantee she was able to get a lot of registered Democrats, as this is saying, and independents to go and vote for her. That is why she won. But other than that, he dominated. Just to close this out, this has been longer than I expected. Sorry about that, guys. I want to read this here. This is from the Detroit Free Press. Nikki Haley drops out of 20 as a Gen Z Republican. I won't vote for Trump. Oh, like we care. After a resounding series of losses on Super Tuesday, Nikki Haley announced she was suspending her campaign for president, locking in the Donald Trump versus Joe Biden rematch. Joe Biden, that America was dreading. Yeah, really. I'm sure America was dreading that. Despite surprisingly winning both Washington, D.C. and Vermont in the Republican primary, Haley's deficit of delegates against Trump was too much to overcome in the race for the GOP nomination. Nikki Haley, as somebody doing YouTube who is very familiar with the manosphere, the red pill, interpersonal dynamics, and the modern female mindset, Nikki Haley encapsulates all of that, and I just can't stand for it. She is the classic tradcon bot woman that all these beta dork conservative men fall for. And I just can't stand for it. Okay, I will not. Nothing about her is traditional. It is all a facade. She is power hungry. She is a perfect example of what happens to women when left unchecked and left to their own devices. She and same with Hillary Clinton. Really, I see them one and the same. Honestly, let's keep reading this. Republican primary voters were too consumed by the promise of what they would call the glory years of Trump's presidency, returning to truly evaluate Haley's campaign for what it was: our best chance at denying a second Biden term and retaking the White House. What a fucking loser. That's bullshit. The fact that Trump was able to win the GOP nomination while under 4 criminal indictments, refusing, I know, I couldn't have said it better myself. The fact that he still dominated with all of that says how much support this guy has. Okay. The American people love this guy. Refusing to step on a debate stage and still refusing to concede his last election serves as a testament to how strong his grip on the party base is. Unfortunately, for the countless principled Republicans like myself, we cannot justify a vote for Trump, no matter how bad a Biden presidency has been. That's terrible. Treason! Treason! I found myself now in the middle of 2 candidates I view as severely damaging to the future of our country. Haley is better suited to beat Biden in November. There's no doubt that Haley was better poised to win in a general election against Biden than Trump. A poll released last month showed her beating Biden in a head-to-head election. I don't buy that, because I don't think as many Trump supporters would come out and vote for her as the polls think. I think in fact, I am confident in saying that they would not. That they are so against her that there is overwhelming denouncement of her from the Trump base that it just wouldn't happen. Yeah, could she get some crossover from Democrats and maybe a little bit of independent support? Yes, but it wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough. The only way she could win is if she got, I would say, at least half of the people who voted for Trump to vote for her, and I don't think she would. Haley also is far more palatable to centrists than both Trump and Biden. Oh yeah, that's true, because I seem to remember Trump didn't get a bunch of independents to vote for him in 2016, and that's not why he won in 2016. Psych, it is. And was even capable of capturing a significant portion of voters who favor Biden over Trump. Republicans would rather lose elections than abandon Trump. Haley was not my first choice for president, but she was far from my last. I certainly prefer her to Trump as the Republican nominee. And it's frustrating that the GOP base is entirely unconcerned with electability. Guys, just know that when goofballs like this put forth words like this, they think that you're idiots, okay? And they think that you're gonna actually, oh, electability. Oh, I can't go and have a beer with Trump. Or no, I could have a beer with Trump, but do I want to send him to China? No, no. The people who know the truth know that he is more than capable of doing that. And a good leader is not always, no matter what, the most PC, HR, lovey-dovey goofball that exists, okay? No, you need to stir passion in the hearts of a voting bloc, and that's what Trump does. So this electability term is what losers say when they're losing, okay? Don't ever catch yourself saying that. However, what has become abundantly clear this time around is that a significant portion of Republican voters would rather lose elections than abandon Trump. And that is a pill that the anti-Trump conservatives have to swallow. Yeah, swallow that shit. Republicans losing young voters, Trump won't help. For young conservatives like me, the only choice we've known for president is Trump. While a majority of Gen Z Republicans support the former president, the GOP has a major numbers problem when it comes to my generation, spanning from 1997 to 2012. But that's nothing new. That's always been the case. Young people always tend to be more liberal because they haven't experienced the real world yet. They're naive. Few people are like myself who have been conservatives their whole lives. Polling suggests that only 21% of Gen Z identifies as Republican, compared with 30%, 36% as Democrat. The 30% of Gen Z who identifies as independent is unlikely to support Trump in large numbers come November, but Haley's support among independents could have unlocked a new source of votes for the GOP. Even if Trump loses this year, which is a strong possibility, the loyalty expressed in this cycle gives me no reason to think we won't see a repeat in 2028 and beyond. I honestly don't know what will break through to those who support Trump anymore. The only way to be rid of Trump at this point might be for him to win an election and be precluded from running for a third term. Until then, what this is the musings of a loser. Until then, it seems the GOP is stuck with Trump as our perpetual nominee. Instead of winning elections, the GOP is relying on Democrats to lose them. Instead of appealing to new voters, the GOP will rely on the same base it always has. If neither party will give us candidates worth voting for, I simply won't. Well, listen, I agree with some of the sentiment there. I think that the Republican Party definitely has, and Trump was part of this, has initiated this contempt to give support to Republicans any longer, because when they get into office, they just don't do what they promise. But people like this kid have it entirely incorrect, where they think that the solution is this palatable PC run of the mill vanilla guy who doesn't garner any sort of reaction one way or the other, which is entirely false. People who win elections they evoke major support from at least a certain portion of the country. Okay. And that is what politics is all about. It is a huge misconception that you need to appease everybody and that's how you win. No, that's why Trump lost in 2020. And I already said this at the beginning of the video. You need a all you need is a smaller sect of completely loyal and passionate supporters, and you will win. Okay, that's what you need above all else. So this and his response is the response that I would expect from somebody who wants to be liked by Democrats, who believes in this bipartisan nonsense that just doesn't exist. And why can't we just get along? It's nonsense. Okay, it's not going to happen. We are in a culture war. Okay, this country is too far gone. We need major sweeping changes. What we don't need is somebody who is going to be this run-of-the-mill PC goofball that can't evoke any sort of imagination and passion. That's what we don't need. Okay, this country is on the precipice of ruin. So, but this is what I would expect from somebody who goes to his country club and hates being made fun of by the liberals. Oh, Trump is such an idiot. He's not palatable. His electability is not good. These are the musings of one of those types of people. I always say that the types of conservatives that support somebody like Nikki Haley are not conservatives at all. They are your run-of-the-mill conservatives who maybe their dad or mom was conservative and that's all they've known, but they're still as establishment and um uh plugged into the matrix as much of the left is. Okay. And that is why it is so easy to convince them that supporting Trump is bad and that you need to support somebody like Nikki Haley. I've just seen it too much now, where that's really what they are. They are just as much the problem because they are just as NPC as much of the left is. And that's really what this comes down to. So, anyways, guys, just to bring this home, they are Republicans who their family may have been Republican, but at the core of it, they're not people who search for truth. Okay, they may have been raised conservative and think that they truly believe in those ideals. But if you know anything about conservatism and kind of red pill ideology, at the basis of it is a search for truth and honesty. And if you don't have that within you, you are just as susceptible to the NPC establishment nonsense that is programmed through your television as lefties are. And that's exactly what we see with goofballs like this. And I've seen it many times. I come across conservatives, well, not all the time, but I have come across conservatives who are, like I said, just as NPC as a lot of people on the left. And at the core of it, it's because they don't search for truth. They are as zombie-like as the rest of the NPCs out there. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy will on facts or feelings because your feelings just don't matter. Love you, King. See you guys next time. Christ is King. Peace.